Welcome to Notebook Nuggets.
Hello. Ready for this one?
Absolutely. Today, we're diving deep into the core ideas of John Gray's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Right. A really well-known book.
Definitely. We're going to unpack some of those, fundamental differences. It talks about how men and women supposedly think, feel, and communicate in relationships.
It's sort of framed as a shortcut, isn't it?
Exactly. Think of this as a way to maybe understand some of those common sticking points that can pop up when you're, trying to navigate a partnership.
And what's really striking right off the bat is that central idea, that metaphor.
The planets, Mars and Venus.
Yeah, exactly. This idea that men and women operate with distinct sets of values, different needs, almost like they're actually from different planets.
It's a powerful image.
It is. And it gives you this framework. Importantly, it's not about, saying one's better or right or wrong.
Just different.
Just recognizing these sort of inherent differences.
Okay, let's dig into that different planets thing a bit more because it feels so, foundational to everything else in the book.
It really is.
It suggests that maybe a lot of the friction, the misunderstandings we hit in relationships, maybe they stem from these different viewpoints.
Yeah, different ways of approaching the exact same situation.
You might think you're both aiming for the same outcome, right? But your underlying values or how you try to get there
can be totally different. And this difference often shows up really clearly in how problems are handled.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, the book highlights this key thing. Women often need to talk about issues. It's about processing, feeling understood, getting that connection and empathy.
Right. Verbalizing it helps.
Whereas men tend to be more wired towards finding solutions, fixing the problem, offering advice.
Oh, I recognize that. You share something frustrating, maybe about work or whatever. And your partner, meaning jumps right in with, you should do this.
Exactly. And the book points out what you might really want in that moment is just to be heard.
Yeah, for someone to just listen and get it, not necessarily solve it right then.
And if that doesn't happen, both people can end up feeling a bit, misunderstood or frustrated.
Totally. Yeah. It ties into what the book says about what makes each gender feel loved, doesn't it?
It really does. It suggests women primarily feel loved through acts of caring, appreciation, affection, that emotional connection.
So the attention, the understanding.
Exactly. And for men, it suggests they often feel value, really motivated even, when they feel useful, competent, like they're solving problems or providing.
So feeling needed and effective is key.
That's the idea. So a lack of acknowledgement in those areas for either side can cause tension.
It's like we're tuned into different frequencies almost.
Yeah.
Speaking slightly different emotional languages.
That's a good way to put it. What really fills up one person's love tank might barely register for the other.
So the book really hammers home recognizing these different needs.
Yeah, for women, maybe showing trust in a man's abilities, letting him know you believe he can handle things.
That could be really validating for him.
Right. And for men, it's about consistently showing love and appreciation, not just for the big stuff, but the small things women do, making that effort repeatedly.
Okay, and this connects to how we handle stress too, right?
Yeah.
Caves versus connection idea.
Yes, exactly. It becomes even clearer then. The book uses that phrase to describe contrasting coping mechanisms.
So men under pressure.
Their instinct might be to withdraw, go into that metaphorical cave.
Right, to pull back and process things alone.
Yeah, focus on the problem, figure out a solution, or maybe just distract themselves until they can deal with it or forget it for a bit.
Okay, the cave. Got it. And women
tend to do the opposite often, seeking connection, reaching out, talking things through.
Yeah, that feeling of needing to connect and share to kind of process the stress.
It's about emotional sharing to cope.
And you can see how that difference could cause sparks if you don't get it.
Totally. A woman might see the withdrawal as him being distant, maybe uncaring.
And a man might feel like her wanting to talk is just adding more pressure when he's already feeling overwhelmed.
Precisely. So the book stresses, look, men might need that space.
But it's also crucial for women to feel heard and supported when they're stressed, finding that balance.
Exactly.
Now, the book also uses these other metaphors,
the
rubber band and the wave. What's that about?
Yes. Those are to help understand emotional cycles. The rubber band is often used to describe men's pattern with intimacy.
Okay.
They move close, feel the connection, but then there's this sort of instinctive need to pull away, to regain some independence.
Before coming close again.
Exactly. Like stretching a rubber band, it pulls back, then springs forward again. It's presented as a natural cycle of connection and autonomy.
So pulling away isn't necessarily a rejection of the relationship itself.
Not according to this model. It's more like a natural rhythm needing that space before they can fully re-engage emotionally.
Okay, interesting. And the wave.
That describes the cyclical nature of a woman's self-esteem and emotional state. The idea is that these feelings naturally rise and fall.
Like a wave in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And these ups and downs aren't always directly caused by something external or something her partner did or didn't do.
It's more internal, part of her emotional rhythm.
That's the concept. So understanding these cycles, the rubber band, the wave, can really help avoid misinterpretations.
Yeah, you don't automatically assume his pulling back means he's leaving or her feeling down is your fault.
Right. And the book says it's important for men maybe to offer reassurance during those times they pull back.
Let her know it's okay, he'll be back.
And for partners to try and accept that natural ebb and flow of emotions, the wave, without always taking it personally.
This understanding seems linked to another big idea, scoring points differently.
Yes, how acts of love and support are perceived and valued differently. How you score points in the relationship account, so to speak.
This one really made me think. The idea that for women, the intent and the frequency of small gestures
Often mean more than big, grand gestures that happen rarely.
Right, like each little thoughtful thing, a hug, a compliment. Remembering something small counts as, say, 1 point.
Regardless of size, yeah. Small, loving acts add up consistently.
But men might see it differently.
The book suggests men might assign more value, like more points to the bigger efforts, the grand gestures.
Believing one huge effort should kind of outweigh lots of smaller ones.
Potentially, yes, which can lead to that disconnect.
Where a guy makes a massive effort, maybe plans a huge surprise.
Thinking he scored big time.
But his partner might not feel as satisfied as he expected because maybe she values those daily little consistencies more.
Exactly. So that takeaway is huge.
Okay.
Consistent small acts of affection can often be more impactful for women.
Those little hugs, compliments, noticing things.
Mm-hmm. Which ties into communication styles, too, another area where there can be differences.
Oh, yeah, this is where it can get really tangled sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. The book talks about men tending towards more literal communication, direct, focusing on the facts, the concrete meaning.
Okay. And women.
Often use more expressive language, superlatives, metaphors, generalizations.
To convey the feeling, the intensity behind it.
Exactly. And if that difference isn't understood, misinterpretations happen easily.
So a man might take a woman's more expressive statement too literally.
Yeah, and miss the underlying emotion she's trying to get across. The classic example is like if a woman says, "We never go out anymore."
She probably doesn't literally mean never, 0 times.
Right. She's more likely expressing a feeling of maybe neglect or wanting more connection, more shared experiences right now. It's about the feeling, not the statistics.
So the advice for men is to try and listen behind the words for the feeling.
Kind of, yeah. Look beyond the literal. And conversely, the book suggests maybe women can try to take men's words more at face value sometimes.
So if he says, "I'm fine,"
he might actually just mean he's okay, and maybe he wants to handle whatever it is on his own for a bit.
not that he's hiding some deep emotional turmoil necessarily.
Could be, but often it's simpler. It's about learning to kind of translate each other's default styles.
Bridging that communication gap.
Exactly. And this loops back nicely to the power of those small things we talked about.
The consistent actions.
Yes, the book really emphasizes how much those seemingly minor gestures can positively impact a woman's emotional well-being and the relationship itself.
Like making regular deposits in that emotional bank account you mentioned.
Pretty much. Things like planning dates, even simple ones, bringing flowers just because, offering genuine compliments.
The book says these things are really effective for boosting oxytocin in women, that bonding, stress-reducing hormone.
That's the connection it makes, yeah. And that these regular small acts are often more effective than, say, one big expensive gift once a year.
Consistency over grand gestures for that day-to-day feeling of connection.
And interestingly, it even touches on hormones for men, too.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, for men, that feeling of being effective, solving problems, successfully tackling something, that can actually boost testosterone.
Which can help lower their stress.
That's the idea. Feeling competent is key. Whereas for women, it's more those relational activities, feeling connected, that stimulates estrogen and oxytocin, which lowers their stress.
It's fascinating how our biology might play into these dynamics. The book even gives examples of phrases.
Yeah, little things women can apparently say to boost a man's sense of competence. Simple stuff like, "That makes sense," or "Good idea."
Or even just, "You're right."
Exactly. Small verbal affirmations that validate his thinking or approach can be quite powerful, apparently.
It really brings it all back to that core message, doesn't it?
It does. That by understanding these, proposed fundamental differences, how we operate, what we need, how we talk,
We can learn to appreciate each other better, maybe navigate things more smoothly.
And hopefully build stronger, more harmonious relationships.
So wrapping up, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, offers this very distinct framework for understanding some common relationship dynamics.
A way to look at why men and women might experience things differently.
Right. And just recognizing these tendencies, these ideas, it could be a really valuable step towards better communication, maybe more empathy.
And ultimately stronger connections.
So I would definitely encourage you to, think about these ideas, see if they resonate with your own experiences at all.
Yeah, how might they apply? Or maybe where do they not quite fit?
Absolutely. And if anything we talk about sparked a thought or maybe a question, we'd genuinely love to hear about it in the comments below.
Yeah, definitely join the conversation.
And of course, if you found this deep dive helpful or interesting, please do like it, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe for more explorations into understanding ourselves and our relationships.